UFC 209 went down this past Saturday night, so let's discuss. What's up, everyone? My name is Mike Wellman, reporting for TYTSports, here to break down the UFC 209 main card, where Tyrone Woodley won a majority decision over Stephen Wonderboy Thompson to retain the UFC Welterweight Title in a fight that was pretty uneventful. Yeah, UFC 209 took a huge hit the day before the event when it was announced that the highly anticipated lightweight co-main event between Khabib Nurmagomedov and Tony Ferguson was canceled. Khabib was taken to the hospital and wasn't medically cleared after dehydration issues stemming from his weight cut. So a lot of fans were looking forward to that fight more than the main event. So it was a huge hit when that fight fell off, but nevertheless, we press forward. As I mentioned in the main event, Tyrone Woodley retained his UFC welterweight title in his rematch against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. This was just an extremely uneventful, boring fight. Both guys just counter strikers, feeling each other out for more or less the entire 25 minutes. The fans were booing this fight louder than I've ever heard a live crowd boo. They were even chanting, "Fight, fight," in the T-Mobile Arena. I mean, when you're in a fight and it's the main event and the fans are chanting for you to please fight, that's not a good sign. And after the hit that this card took, I would not be happy if I was a fan who purchased a ticket to this event. Neither fighter could figure the other one out, and what we ended up with was pretty much 30 seconds of meaningful action at the very tail end of the 25-minute fight, where Woodley dropped Wonderboy twice, almost finished him, couldn't get the job done before the final bell. So Woodley wins the fight by a majority decision. One judge saw it a draw, two gave it to Woodley. So both fights between Woodley and Wonderboy end up with split outcomes among the judges. Very evenly matched fighters for sure. That being said, let us please move on from this. I think we are all ready to close the book on the saga of Tyrone Woodley and Stephen Thompson. So what should be next for Woodley after eking by in this title defense against Wonderboy? Well, I would say number 3 ranked Demian Maia is seemingly next in line for a title shot, but he was just recently booked to fight Jorge Masvidal at UFC 211 in May. So I would say the winner of that fight should get the next shot at Tyrone Woodley. So what should be next for Wonderboy after sort of losing 2 straight? I mean, it was a draw, but he didn't win the title in that fight, and then he didn't win the title in this fight either. I hope that this fight was just an aberration. Wonderboy is usually really exciting. The first fight between Woodley and Wonderboy was really exciting. I think it definitely takes 2 to tango, so to speak, when it comes to contributing to a boring fight, and both guys were just really canceling each other out. I'm sure we'll see more of the dynamic striking that Wonderboy has become known for in the future, but this was just... That was the main event of UFC 209. In the co-main event, Lando Vannata versus David Tamer. Lightweight fight, and what a fight this one was. The replacement co-main event actually delivered a seriously entertaining fight from start to finish. We've come to know Lando Vannata recently as a creative striker out of the Jackson Winklejohn camp. He took on David Tamer in a really fast-paced, exciting fight. Go back and watch this one. Switch kicks, cartwheel kicks from Lando. Tamer landed some vicious knees to the body in the clinch. Both guys super technical on the feet. I think they gave fans a reason to keep them both on the radar for the future. Tamer won a unanimous decision. All 3 judges scored at 30-27. I say give David Tamer a step up in competition. Lightweight is a dangerous division, but Tamer showed a lot of pretty solid technique in this fight. God, those knees to the body were just ridiculous. Someone like the returning Al Iaquinta or Will Brooks might be a great fight for David Tamer, but yeah, I definitely think he capitalized on the short notice co-main event slot for sure in that one. All right, also on the card at UFC 209 was former UFC champion Rashad Evans making the drop down to middleweight, taking on judo Daniel Kelly. So here you have a former UFC light heavyweight champion in Evans, taking on Daniel Kelly, who is just an old man with a bad knee that can beat you up. Kelly, crafty fighter, has some physical limitations, obviously, that we saw. Some pretty serious knee problems, I would say. Even he detailed the knee problems after the fight. But nonetheless, still gets in the pocket, throws. Daniel Kelly wins a split decision over Rashad Evans. One judge gave the fight to Rashad, 29-28. Competitive, close fight. You had Daniel Kelly's crafty trips and left hands he was landing on Rashad. Evans clearly had his best round in the third round, really turned it on in the final seconds. I mean, if we saw more volume from Rashad earlier on, he might have been able to finish Daniel Kelly. So I don't think Evans looked bad making the drop down to middleweight, but he clearly is not the same fighter he used to be. The old Rashad would have finessed Dan Kelly. He was still pretty quick, more athletic, but that was just not enough against the savvy veteran in Kelly. Really, those trips and punch combos threw Rashad off his game throughout the whole fight. I think it's safe to say at this point that Rashad Evans probably doesn't have much more to contribute in MMA. I think it's probably time for him to consider how much longer he wants to continue fighting. So what should be next for the winner, Daniel Kelly? Who knows? I mean, the way he described the shape his knee is in, he probably shouldn't be fighting anymore either. I mean, he is now 6-1 in the UFC and has a win over a former champion. That's amazing in and of itself. Also on the main card, another fight that got bumped up was a strawweight bout between Amanda Cooper and Cynthia Calvillo. This one made it on the main card when Nurmagomedov and Ferguson fell off. And Cynthia Calvillo won by a rear naked choke in the first round against Amanda Cooper. Definitely capitalizing on the opportunity to fight on the pay-per-view. Made quick work of Amanda Cooper with a rear naked choke. And then the opening fight on the main card, a heavyweight fight. This was a rematch from about 8 years ago. Super Samoan Mark Hunt versus Alistair Overeem. Overeem knocks out Mark Hunt in the third round with knees. Overeem coming off the loss to Stipe Miocic by knockout. He's been knocked out plenty of times. Hunt known for his durability and his chin. Right off the bat in this one, Hunt got a leg kick checked by Overeem that caused a very deep cut on his shin. Actually broke his leg in this fight. Overeem pressing forward with some spinning kicks, push kicks to the body. Finally finishes Mark Hunt in the third round with a brutal knee that makes him go limp. Also, Overeem had some adversity coming into this fight. He spent the day in the hospital with food poisoning, but refused to pull out of the fight. Comes back, wins in the third round. What should be next for Overeem? Francis Ngannou. This is the fight we need to see. Ngannou is an absolute beast coming off of his win over Andrei Arlovsky. Overeem mentioned that fight afterwards. Overeem's kind of been up and down in his UFC career. Most recently, he got knocked out by Stipe, as I mentioned. Rebounds with a statement win over always durable Mark Hunt. But yes, please, MMA gods, give us Overeem versus Ngannou ASAP. All in all, UFC 209 seemed more or less like an exciting cable TV card with an uneventful title fight at the top. What did you think of UFC 209? Let us know in the comments. Did you watch it? Did you skip it? Did you skip it because Khabib was off? Were you never planning on watching it? Are you glad you skipped it? Let us know in the comment section. My name is Mike Wellman. Follow me on Twitter at MikeWellman88 and be sure to subscribe to TYT Sports.